now to talk about business and some issues that might be facing here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. And her advice for those owners who are struggling is Suzanne Levine, the Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us again this morning.
And thank you for having me. Every time I hear that splash of water, I feel like I need a towel.
So, Suzanne, you are very involved with all the businesses here in Greater West Bloomfield. We talked about a little bit of advice for startups. We've talked about some marketing tips for people. But for those businesses that are struggling right now, and obviously coming out of the pandemic, a lot of businesses here in Greater West Bloomfield are struggling. Could you share with us some of the problems that you have seen in our community and how they have been able to mend themselves?
Yes, well, we know the pandemic has created quite a few different problems for businesses. And one that we have found is really prevalent and very difficult to solve right now is labor shortage. Last night, I was invited to Bush's VIP grand opening. They're having a ribbon cutting today at 11 a.m., so the entire community is invited. But one of their major issues is trying to find help to staff their new, beautifully renovated facility. And one of the suggestions that I've been making to a lot of our businesses is they should start looking to older, but wiser, people to start staffing. I know there was a trend like 10, 15 years ago to try to, move older people out and bring newer people in. But I've noticed that there's a lot of seniors that are still very vibrant, and maybe they just want to work part-time. They don't need the health benefits. They just want something to contribute. And they're reliable. They don't have, to worry about daycare for their kids. So I've been suggesting that they sort of reach out to some of the independent communities where these seniors live and, try to get them to come back to work, even part-time. And I think it would, solve some of the labor shortage right now.
And Suzanne, another one of those problems that businesses seem to be having, especially because of the pandemic, is the supply chain issues that some businesses have been having. And combine that with the inflation prices and the supply chain problems that our businesses are having. Have you seen any of those issues in our community? And if so, how have you seen solutions been able to come about?
Yes, there's quite a bit of that, especially in, the supermarket grocery avenue. And they've been having a very tough time. I think they just need to put a lot of pressure on our legislators to try to figure out how to solve this, whether it's, these supplies are stuck out in the middle of the ocean or they don't have workers, to unload them at the docks. And I heard a little bit of a frightening prospect to me is that they are really looking to have, robots or, self-driving trucks because they don't have enough truck drivers, which to me is a little bit of a scary proposition. But yeah, we need to find a way to get the goods from, where the ports to the grocery stores. They were telling me last night they have a difficulty in getting cat food. They haven't been able to get cat food for 9 months. I know there was a formula shortage. I'm not really sure why these different, bizarre kind of food shortages are happening. And maybe the other thing is trying to reopen our manufacturing so that we're never dependent on another country again, to supply. We have more than enough supplies in our country, and we need to really start figuring out ways to distribute them to everyone.
And Suzanne, another problem that has come about in our businesses are some of those issues with smaller businesses maybe being not looked to as much as some of those bigger corporations like a Target or an Amazon. Have you seen some issues with that in our Greater West Bloomfield community, especially with those small businesses, those family-owned restaurants, and how have you seen them able to fix those problems and maybe market to the community and see that they need help?
Well, I've noticed that unfortunately, a lot of the small family-owned businesses have curtailed their hours because they just cannot handle, the volume of people that now want to go out or carry out. the other problem before was that they were closed. Now that they're reopened, people are going back out, but they don't have the manpower. And so rather than, have angry customers because, one waitress can't service an entire restaurant, they're shutting down much earlier. So this is, a huge problem. I know that they've been trying to offer more money, but with that more money to pay, the staff means that, prices are going to rise in the restaurants. And I think it's really incumbent upon everyone to try to support these small businesses. I know that even if I don't get good service at a restaurant, I still give 20% because I want to keep that server there. So it's very problematic, and trying to help these small businesses strategize how they can either attract more help or how they can attract more customers. It is an interesting problem that we're all trying to work on, because small businesses are definitely the backbone of our community, and we all want them to thrive and hopefully survive.
And Suzanne, if there are business owners in our community who are still struggling with those problems such as understaffing or some of those supply chain issues, is there any resources at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce that they are able to take advantage of once they become a member there?
Yes, we have job postings, and I always direct them to Oakland County because they have a lot more resources to try to help them. I know there are job fairs, and they should definitely participate in those. I know that there's been some issues with people pretending to apply for jobs so they can continue their unemployment benefits. And I think there's a way that we need to figure out to work with our government to allow people to retain part of their benefits and still work, because this is a huge problem, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I've heard some alarming statistics from some of the people that work in the grocery stores that we're going to see 50% less stock and 50% more pricing. So this is something that's going to affect everyone. And I think, we really need to all come together to, put some pressure on our legislators to help us find a solution, so that this doesn't become the new normal.
And Suzanne, as we wrap up here, is there anything else that you want to share, either about some of those tips for businesses here that are struggling, or some of those events that are coming up for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce?
Well, what I love doing is sort of this business matchmaking and trying to figure out great partnerships with different industries. When we just had a ribbon cutting for Evolve Body Sculpting, and I connected them with the Lash Lounge, because people that are interested in the way they look might be also interested in Profile by Sanford, nutrition guidance, or our Gazelle Health. She's a fitness instructor. So trying to make these different unique partnerships so that maybe they can refer to one another. We have a lot of upcoming events. The one today at 11 a.m. at Bush's is a ribbon cutting, and I know they'll be giving out some gift bags. So if people like free swag, they should definitely come. June 8th is our health fair at the township. We're very grateful to the township and to Civic Center TV for covering this for us and our partners in that event, Beaumont and Direct Hearing. July 20th, we have a great multi-chamber event at the Showcase Collection, Suburban Collection in Novi. So check out our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. Contact me at 248-626-3636, or email me at wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. And I'm happy to help direct you, even if you're not a chamber member, to some resources to help your business.
Well, Suzanne, it's always a pleasure having you here on the Splash Live with us on Friday mornings. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
And thank you for wherever life takes you. I know that you're going to be very successful. It has been an honor and a privilege to be working with you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate it.